right, hello and welcome to an all-new episode of the Cardback Cafe Fresh Brew. That's right, with me, Frank.
And me, Jeff.
Back at it again here, week on week, on our YouTube channel, the Kaiju Creative YouTube channel, where you find all the new episodes of Fresh Brew, talking toys, adult collectibles, everything around that world of action figures that we love talking about so much, going over all the latest news, gossip, and our own personal collections, and loving every second of it. Jeff,
yes.
Another week has passed. How the heck are you?
I'm good. Gotta tell you, it's been a long, emotional.
It's been a week. It has been a week.
Thankfully, the weather has been kind enough to allow me to go outside, spend time outside with the dogs, so I was able to address some very much needed yard work that needed to be done, and just tinkered around. It was nice to get outside and not melt like a candle. So that was great.
Nice.
And yeah, just honestly, man, just being here with you is such a highlight. So yeah, outside of that, just kind of a week spent outside, and of course, you know, now talking about toys, just it's a nice change of pace for this past week.
Yeah, it definitely brings a bit of normality to proceedings.
Exactly.
Because the world is a crazy place at the minute.
Yeah.
Outside of toys, but this here is toy talk. We're gonna leave all that other noise away. All that other noise is what me and Jeff talk about when we're not recording.
Yeah. A long preamble today.
Well, there's a big build-up, but we're talking all the positive, happy stuff today because there's a lot going on this week. It is the build-up to SDCC. This is if I'm right, this is the last episode we will record prior to SDCC, which means the next episode will be during SDCC. So for you at home, what that means is this is kind of a special preview show. It's going to be basically the same. We're going to look over the news. We're going to do some 3Ps action, but we're also going to hit you up with some SDCC, I guess, predictions later in the show.
Yeah.
That's the plan anyway. We'll see which routes we take to get there in the end.
Yeah, we'll see how we patch that together. But
no. Yeah. But we've got a big one planned today, so I mean we shouldn't waste too much time. But before we start, it is as of the time of recording here a Friday evening, so I think I'm gonna have to get the drinks ready because, as we said, it's been a long week. And
and listen, you know, 5 o'clock somewhere is actually happening right now, so
you could
I don't have a cool can to
nice.
Crack, but I could jingle some ice.
You've got a more sophisticated. I do have a nice arcade made, an 8% Dipper. Yeah.
Mine's a double, so it's about 8%. I'm drinking some nice Suntory whiskey, which is a nice, easy, breezy blend. I'm really enjoying this.
I had had a lot of nice Suntory gins when I was in Japan earlier this year.
Yeah.
They did a lot of nice gin and tonics in a can. I had a gin and soda, which was okay. The gin and tonics were better, but
I like it. It's a brighter blend than
it's
what
brisk
I
for
normally
these
have.
summer months. Because I'd say this, like I remember you saying last week, New York has been like the hottest summer you can remember, and we actually over here in the UK have finally hit summer, and I think today has been the hottest day of the year. So I've been, and it's not even that hot in the grand scheme of things. It's not like New York aggressive hot, but it's hot enough to be walking outside in shorts and be like, I think I've got some sweat on my back. So
nice.
A cold beverage or two, definitely going down a treat. We'll see how much we're slurring our words by the end of it, but let's get right into it because there is a lot of news. Didn't think there would be a lot of news coming into this week, but here we are again. It all picked up towards the end of the week. Even though Comic-Con is right around the corner, it didn't stop these companies from revealing things, a couple little leaks along the way as well. Let's start it off with the Todd Father, Toddy Mac, our favorite, Todd's Corner here with a figure that I I think we talked about on a couple of like those leak lists before, but I think when I saw it revealed, I was a bit surprised because I'd forgotten completely that it was announced. But Jonah Hex and the General 2-pack, a gold label exclusive collector edition. The names for these: Jonah Hex and the General gold label McFarlane collector edition exclusive. It's too many words, but there we are. You know, obviously, I'm not too familiar with Jonah Hex. I knew there was that movie that was panned by the critics, and then, you know, leading up to that movie and after the movie, I remember seeing the character pop up in animated things and more comics. So, more familiar now than I was, but definitely a very good-looking figure. Like, loving the soft goods, loving the horse. He's getting use out of that horse yet still.
Yeah. This is the fourth time we've seen that horse.
It seems like he's got a little sort of different hairdo, though. You know, he's looking
very
quite
emo.
dapper. Yeah, it's like an emo horse. What are you thinking about old Jonah Hex here?
I like it. You know, like you, I'm not too familiar with the character, but I'm really liking taking a step in yet another direction with the soft goods with this trench coat. It's looking good, and I like, you know, a cool cowboy figure is a cool cowboy figure. You know, you could almost use this as a custom Red Dead guy.
Yeah, an easy head swap, right?
Head swap, yeah. But yeah, he looks great, and you know, again, if you've missed out on getting this horse, I know I almost got the one in the wave with the Dark Knight Returns, which I could still probably get. But yeah, this horse has always tempted me. but you know, I think it's cool.
And this is probably like, well, I guess, I mean, all of the horses have been fairly standard, but this one seems to, I guess because it's not like a stark black like the Dark Knight horse or like the Witcher horse. Being the browns with like a bit of a lighter face, like to me it seems like there's a bit more maybe of a paint job there than there was with some of those other horses.
A little more detailed.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah.
And
what's this going for? Is this going for like $40?
Oh no.
50, 60,
the
70?
retail here is $69.99.
Oh, okay.
So
shoot your shot, Todd.
Yeah, I mean 70, so you're paying about 35 each. They are listed as, you know, it's gold label and also a collector edition, so there's always a bit of a bump there. I guess those collector editions are normally 30 by themselves anyway. So
I would I'd be interested to hear from the listeners about this, you know, if Jonah Hex is if this is reflective of the price of admission, if this is a character that can kind of, I don't know, move McFarlane in this direction, I'd be interested to hear like from the Jonah Hex fans out there.
All two of them. It would be good to...
Right.
Well, I want to know is this Jonah Hex, he comes with guns. So he comes with
that's
a rifle and 2 6-shooters. So is this a special thing because it's a collector's edition, or is this sort of a changing of the guard, a loosening of restrictions for DC? Are we going to start getting guns DC, with figures that need them? Yeah, he's a DC. This is a DC multiverse figure. Yeah. Because obviously there's been that issue, like, you know, they've had to sell gun packs, and there's been characters that should have guns that haven't. I don't know if this might be the first one. It's definitely the first one that's sticking out to me as guns coming with a DC character again. And again, maybe there's some fine print or some reasoning why that could happen, or hopefully it's more of like, oh, we can actually include guns with characters that need them.
Yeah, exactly. If it's essential to that character, because especially the multiverse line has been a hard no on guns, and I know like some of the DC direct releases, it's a little spottier there. Like I know, for instance, I think I bought the re-release of the Red Hood, and he still had the guns with him. They didn't remove that. So I don't know what the rules are here. But that would be nice, though. It'd be nice to get some guns back in the line with characters that have guns.
Yeah, it always felt weird to get some of those characters like a Red Hood without guns, or like a Deathstroke or something without guns. Like not big gun fanatics, but I think when it's called for with the character, you want those character specific accessories, don't you?
It's like, the unmasked Thomas Wayne with the sword, and I get that, but luckily that came out before this started happening, but imagine, and that's kind of what we're talking about here.
Yep. Well, we'll keep it with Todd here, and I must have missed this if this had happened before, but the McFarlane Collectors Club drawing board, which is basically the McFarlane in-house crowdfunding. I think I missed if he has done this before. It feels like maybe that was something that's happened, because I haven't seen, like, when this popped up in the news this week, people weren't making a big deal necessarily about this crowdfunding thing being here. It was more of the fact of, like, what's in the crowdfunding and what the prices are, etc. But again, correct us in the comments. Engagement. Let us know if there's been some drawing board stuff before. But beyond all that, here's what's up for crowdfunding is the Superpowers Sea Saucer and Bat Multicraft, and it's a fairly high price to get to, 600,000 USD. But saying that, it's only been 2 days and it's made 113,000. Now, I don't collect superpowers. Jeff, like, have you dabbled in it at all? I mean, it's one of those lines I think we both just sort of see from afar. We didn't necessarily grow up with superpowers. I know that since it's relaunched, there have been fans of it, and a big thing that people who collect the line are fans of are the vehicles. And it seems like this is quite divisive from what I'm seeing online, in that the vehicles used to be retail, and now maybe there's a shift happening, and maybe they're not going to be retail anymore. Why are we crowdfunding this? Why is the price of admission so high? But regardless of any of that, here's what it is. 2 new vehicles, a couple of new repaints for figures. $20 can get you the Black Manta Sea Saucer. $35 can get you the Black Manta Sea Saucer with a Black Manta and an Aquaman. $30 can get you the Bat Multicraft. $45 can get you the Bat Multicraft with a Batman and Robin. $45 can get you just the 2 vehicles. Or $75 can get you the 2 vehicles and the 4 figures. Or $90 can get you 2 vehicles, 4 figures, plus a T-shirt. So, and is there any? Is that something else that's coming
part
with
of it?
I don't think so. No. He's just saying he's Batman. But
okay.
And you get the $100 version. Let's not forget the one that is the 2 vehicles, the 4 figures, and a Todd McFarlane autographed art card. So yeah, 2 days in, 113,000 raised, 19 days to go. It's quite a small window for a crowdfunding. 600,000. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if this is a way to test the market for this line, because I know it's really popular, but it's, how many is it popular among? I could just be, completely full of crap, but it seems like a tall order for what it is in the amount of time. And like you, I don't know if he's done something like this before, but it is kind of surprising there's not more commentary on it, as far as, like, because when I saw it, and I saw that bottom line number that he's asking for in that time frame, it just seemed it seemed like a lot.
For these style of figures, for figure, especially with like sort of a low, like it's a low price point to get in and to get into it, right? Like if you're going all in, it's $100, which isn't.
Is it so popular among like a niche of fans that it's better to do it this way than to do a mass retail in stores? I don't know.
It'll be interesting. I like with the HasLab, the Cantina thing. I think we were both fairly. We were more leaning towards it would pass, and then it did, and I think it got a big boost somewhere in the middle. End. Whereas this, I don't know. It's already got 1,175 backers as of recording this. 19 days to go. I think, it probably trudges along now. Like, its first 2 days are out the window, so it probably trudges along. It's at nearly 19% of the goal, so maybe it gets up to 30% by the last few days, but I don't know if there's a big enough boost at the end there. It'll be interesting. We'll be able to revisit it the next episode we do. It'll be closer. We'll have a better idea, but definitely interesting. If you're a superpowers collector, get involved now if you want to see these, because you don't have long. I mean, less than 3 weeks from when it launched, which again is quite a short time frame, because like HasLabs and whatnot, those tend to go like a month and a half sometimes, right? So there you go. Todd's Corner. I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot from him when it comes time for Comic-Con, and I'm looking forward to that. But let's move on to another line we've talked about quite a bit here, is the, Spin Master. I always want to say Jazzwares, but it's not. It's Spin Master's PlayStation line. The first wave is out there. You can order them now. People are getting them now. If you go onto our Instagram, you can see that maybe one of us got one of them in, through some various websites. They're out there, and they're looking good for the most part. I think people are really favorably reacting to them. Praeternia over on Twitter has a alleged plan for the second wave, and some good ones, some interesting ones. I mean, I'd thought we'd already heard that Joel and Ellie were coming, but this now is saying that it's actually Joel and Ellie from the Last of Us TV show, which I find interesting. Because I thought the whole idea here was that it's a PlayStation game line.
Right.
And obviously love the show, but I do hope that we get game versions of these figures. Like I would buy both versions. I would, because that's the kind of freak.
That's where you're at with the fandom.
Yeah, I love it. And Nicola, she loves The Last of Us. Like I mean, she's played through both games multiple times. She's played the remakes of both games multiple times. Like she's much bigger of a fan than I am, but I would definitely go after game versions from both games and TV versions. So it'll be interesting. Maybe that's a bit of misinformation, or it could be true. You're getting a Nathan Drake, the main character from Infamous, which was I think a PS4 launch title, and I think I remember having it, and it's a really good game. This character, I can't remember his name, might have been like Desmond or something like that. Again, correct us, because we are wrong a lot, so we need the correcting. Another character from Horizon, which is Erend, which I guess is sure, or I don't know, and Deacon St. John from Days Gone. Okay. Now we're getting into the Merc, because I don't know who that is.
Yeah, we're starting to get deep, but I'm definitely interested in The Last of Us and that Nathan Drake. I played both of those games and enjoyed both of those games. The remasters, mind you. I wasn't an OG, but still really enjoyed the games. So yeah, we'll be happy to see kind of what they look like in their figure form. So hopefully we'll be getting some more pics of that.
Yeah, I mean, if the first wave is anything to go by, it wasn't long from hearing about them as like a rumor to then seeing them. It was it felt like a week or two in between, and Comic-Con's right around the corner. So yeah, definitely something to keep on our radar. Something else we've talked about in the past, which is now appearing, are these Simpsons figures. The Simpsons figures are out in the wild. The 5-inch Simpsons figures from Jax. See, now we're getting all these companies who have done toys in various formats are now getting into the action figure game, and it's causing a bit of a blockage in my head, because you've got Spin Masters, Jazzwares, Jax. Anyway, Jax has a few different scales we've talked about before. I think there's a 2-inch, but this is, I guess, the most, I would say, collectible version, even though they're still mass market figures. $12.99, but for $12.99, 5 inches, these things I think I'm in.
Yeah, this is going to be something we're tracking down when you're back. I love everything about it. They're perfect. You know, they capture what you'd want. I'm loving the packaging here. Look at that accessory. You know, the perfect accessories right there. You know, donuts for Homer, skateboard for Bart, and a good solid first wave here. What we're seeing. You know,
and
what's
good,
out
like,
there, I guess,
like they look the part. I mean, you know, we had a few waves of the Super 7, and like everybody thought when those were announced, this would be the end all be all of Simpsons line, and some of them look good. Like, I still haven't got my hands on any of them. I still want to potentially get like a Kang or Kodos. Yeah, but those are like $80 figures. If you're looking at a whole wave of these Simpsons figures for less than $50, and they are the normal representations of the characters, because that was another complaint with Super 7. You got some of the family members, but they weren't the standard versions of them. There. Yep. And so here we've already got Homer and Bart, and then we've got two good side characters in Otto and Groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah, and I'm liking the scale of these two. Yeah. So, you know, won't bend the shelf once they're all up there.
And it feels like it could go deep as well, like maybe not, I don't know, like World of Springfield deep, like how that original line went so much, but if they're already doing it in a few different scales, you know, there's already like play sets, like I think for the smaller scale figures there's like a living room play set and all that. I would, definitely be on the lookout for these when I'm back.
I think it'll do well too. Their fan base is so big that even non-toy collectors are going to be wanting to track these down just to have, you know, just those rabid fans of the show will want these. So I think it'll be really successful as well.
Yeah, and still getting you know, Emmy nominations in its like 100th season. So people are still watching it. And
the only things true are death and Simpsons now.
I'm looking forward again. Comic-Con around the corner. Hopefully we start seeing some of what the next waves will bring. Hopefully, it seems like with a company like Jax, they could turn them out quite quick as well. So we hopefully wouldn't have to wait like, you know, a year between waves or 6 months between waves. Maybe it'll be like every quarter or something like that. Anyway, stuff to look forward to. A bit of a weird one, this, I thought, but NECA, I guess capitalizing on the fact that there is a new Beetlejuice movie coming out. Beetlejuice. The new trailer came out the other day, which I thought did a lot for hyping me up. A lot more than the first trailer did, I think. Yeah. Because, there was just a bit more to it. So I guess going off of that, NECA have decided to re-release two of their older figures here in the red tuxedo and the striped suit versions of Beetlejuice from way back in the day. I don't remember how old these are. 2000, it could
somewhere
be, right?
in that era, maybe. Yeah, when they're.
I mean, back in the cult classics era.
Yeah.
Like with about 5 points of articulation, I think. I mean, what do we got? We got some shoulders, some wrists, and a head.
Yeah, they look like that 2005 to maybe 2009 era of stuff that they were doing then. Great detailing. I mean, you know.
It's the thing, it holds up like all these years later. They're not bad. You know, hopefully this is almost like a teaser or like dipping a toe in the water to be like, let's make more, or like let's make some of the cartoon figures or something. I think it's been interesting to see that NECA has been very much game to do re-releases recently. Like, it seems like there's so many re-releases coming out. Like, there were, you know, those Batman Returns quarter scale figures. Yeah. They're just they're revisiting old molds and stuff a lot more than I think NECA ever had in the past. And I don't know if that's just a weird thing that's going on with the company, but so these two new, old Beetlejuice figures are going to be coming your way pretty soon, because they're coming out in August for $25 each. So at least they don't have that premium Ultimates price of like, nearly $40.
Exactly. Right.
Well, any interest here?
I mean, not really. I think it is great. Different movie, maybe a movie that I have a stronger connection with. I can get behind this, but honestly, the limited articulation. What can I say? We've been spoiled these past few years. I just have different tastes in what I'm looking for. But again, it's cool to see that they're giving fans a second chance. And again, just another one of those lines that's going to connect with non-collectors that maybe they could buy. But I do think it's kind of foreshadowing maybe things to come as well. So
true. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm because this is a franchise that, even though that there's only a film and a cartoon show, like it's got legs. You can definitely there's enough interesting looking characters. It's got enough of a fan base. You could do something with it. So Red Tuxedo Beetlejuice, by the way, shipping in October, not August. So I think the black and white striped one, he's in August. And also, I said 5 points of articulation. We're actually at a whopping 8 points of articulation here.
Oh, see, that changes everything now.
Yeah, I know, right? Up for pre-order wherever you pre-order. Big Bad, Entertainment Earth, all those things. Moving on, so I would say that first chunk of news, that was like the appetizer, because then the news starts getting a little bit juicier here. Going back to Praeternia over on Twitter, SH Figure Arts has revealed the medical machine from Dragon Ball Z, which I just think is so cool. Like, this just shows you how deep they're going into Dragon Ball. Just from the Namek saga, Goku recovering once he, this is a pivotal sort of section of that show. It felt really long when you're watching it, because you're like, how long is he going to heal? Yeah. How much time does he need? But it's great, and I don't have all the info, but it doesn't come with the figure, but it does come with the alternate head portrait for your Goku.
Which I love. I love that they do this.
Yeah.
I mean, what could you say? It speaks for itself. It looks awesome. Great display piece. And love that they're doing this. Love that we're now getting into these kind of almost set pieces from the show, which is awesome.
A P Bandai release, Premium Bandai, delivery month April 2025. So you're going to be waiting nearly a year, $95 dues, which it's a lot of scratch, I will say. But it does have LED lights, and it's got other stuff. It's got the exchangeable facial expression parts for your Goku. All the bits you could want if you wanted to recreate it.
Yeah, I know. It is really cool, really tempting. But it's got a lot of other stuff to compete with over here, Frank. But let's see. I still need a Vegeta, to be honest. I'd still like a Vegeta, a proper representation of Dragon Ball Z.
I've got a Majin Vegeta, like the first release from way back when, and like at the time, that was the version of Vegeta I liked the most. But it's so sort of old now. It's a bit long in the tooth, and it's like, I'm ready for like a new, like upgraded Vegeta. I think there was a new one that recently came out, or there's one that was recently announced. So yeah, more Vegetas is basically what we want.
Yes.
Right, what is next here? Super 7 dipping back into the well of a Thundercats. What was I gonna? I was lost for a second. I was blinded by the light, Jeff, because
yes, you were.
We're getting literally two re-releases, but upgraded re-releases, because we're getting a Lionel and a Mumra with LED light up eyes, and we have. We've got the old Mumras here.
I've got both of these, actually.
You've got both. That's You graciously, nicely, kindly gifted me this lovely Mumra. Not this one, but the original release. I now think I might have to go after this because I don't have the Lino.
Yeah.
And if this is obtainable enough and the price is the standard, as in, I don't know if they've announced the price yet, but there's something telling me there's going to be like an extra $10 on top of what it normally is, which does upset me a little bit if that's the case. But if it's 55, I might be in on it because
that's a decent range. Yeah.
It's just LEDs.
It's
LEDs
a cool thing.
Over glow in the dark for me. I've had enough of the glow in the dark things.
Yeah, I like the choice, and I think LEDs lend more to, when they're trying to incorporate that into a character. Like obviously, glow in the dark works for like Toxic Crusader. Like that's fine. Yeah. Like I get into that.
Muckman,
but
it works.
Exactly, but we both have that Diamond Select Iron Giant with the lights in the head. And it's just a cool thing. It's just enough to add to it without taking away from it at the same time. I also feel the glow in the dark. You're sacrificing a lot of the paint, and a lot of the detail in the sculpt for that weird translucent body that you're gonna see often. But yeah, this is cool. Another go around. For fans, I mean that looks pretty awesome.
The added chest bit with Mumra really.
Yeah,
it's like,
it'll come down to price, as you said. I think I actually paid $35 for that Lino back in the day.
Okay,
things were still within that $30 to $44 range, and that was probably a sale. So hopefully, if you get out of it for $55, I'd say that's pretty good in 2024.
Yeah, apparently you'll be able to visit Super 7 at SDCC to pre-order these. I haven't been able to find any more details about price or when they would potentially be shipping.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff is probably out there. But it was just, I think because we don't collect, we don't really collect Thundercats Ultimates or whatever. But again, Lino, Mumra, we're into like the 80s, 90s cartoons.
I like it enough to say I want a representation of the hero and villain in that show.
Exactly. And a thumbs up.
And a thumbs up. You agreed.
I agree.
Your phone or your camera agreed to.
And this is saying that the Lino is a new sculpt as well.
I was going to say it looks a little different in the chest area and some of the tooling there.
Yeah. And I don't know,
maybe.
Are they saying that about... So the Mumra, they are just saying it's just the LED stuff. But the Lino, it does make a point of saying it is an all-new sculpt. And I do remember there being some... I was going to say hoo-ha, but nobody says hoo-ha anymore.
That first sculpt was essentially just a repro of the Mattel, I think.
Yes. Exactly. So this would honestly be more of a Super 7... upgrade to that, I guess.
It's hard to tell. I'm actually looking back at it. Yeah, I think the chest piece is a tad different in it.
Okay.
I grab them, but I fear the whole shelf would fall over. So.
So there'll be more info come SDCC in just a few days, but definitely cool. It's cool to see them go this route. Like, obviously, we've said they've done the glow-in-the-dark stuff. It feels like they've been doing that for a while now. It's cool, especially when the character calls for it. But, doing the LED stuff, I think, opens up a lot of cool avenues. And especially if there are characters in this line or other lines in the future that would lend themselves to that, hopefully it means that can be the first release and not like an exclusive later down the line.
Yeah. Like imagine TMNT, the turtles with the white light up eyes. I mean, now we're talking. So.
Or something like even like a metalhead with like his anyway, it's all light up eyes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone with a laser maybe. Okay, cool. So some good stuff from Super 7. Moving on to a little bit of Godzilla action, and
of course. He's becoming a new central part of our show too, along with the turtles. I feel like
it's all about the green representation. Although
it's about time he gets the push.
Yeah, he took growing up. I felt like I lived on an island, like in Godzilla. Yeah. Like I would buy the VHSs in like Hollywood Video. I would watch them. Nobody who we went to school with. I couldn't talk to anybody about Godzilla. Like, I could bring it up. People knew what Godzilla was, but as in like someone who like watched all the movies and like, it's just in our small world. It just didn't exist, and now it's so funny to like take a step back and be like, Godzilla's winning Oscars. There's American movies. There's Japanese movies. They're on Netflix. Yeah. Everybody loves it. Big box office smashes.
Yeah.
Hiya Toys, however you want to say it. They have entered the sort of field that SH Monster Arts has been dominating for ages, and they've been making some ruckus for a while. And I have the Ghidorah from the Monsterverse. Again, still haven't even opened it because of the whole build and moving and packing and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. One day that will happen. But they've stuck pretty close to just doing Monsterverse stuff for a while. And very recently, they announced a 1991 Godzilla, which looked very good and, hit the right prices. And I was very tempted, but didn't pull the trigger. But now, they've announced a 1991 Heat Ray version. And the second I can find a place to pre-order it over here in the UK, I will be doing it.
Here for it. Look at this.
I'm here for it. It's up currently on Big Bad and Entertainment Earth for $50. You compare this with what NECA was doing a few years back. It puts it to shame. And even with Monster Arts, this sculpt from these images looks so much, I don't know, it just looks more accurate, and it's just the fact that it comes with a heat ray, which shouldn't be a big thing, but so few Godzillas actually come with the atomic breath. So, like, having the blue light up spines. Which is weird
because it's like, essentially you only need to make one sculpt for it, and maybe paint different colors here and there, and throw it in the package. So
you never have to redo it. Like, do it the first time, and then the rest of the time you just recoup your costs.
Yeah. Yep.
So
it is cool to see.
Yeah, the Hokkaido battle version of the Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991, 7 inches, 18 centimeters tall, comes with an extra set of hands, the heat ray, going to be coming your way Q1 of 2025. And again, it's up for pre-order now on the big sites like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth, $50 US, which is insane because Monster Arts has that Comic-Con exclusive, which is a Heisei Godzilla, like a version like this with the blue spines, and I think it's like $100.
Yeah.
Something like that. Again, it'll probably be like less, but I think I'm going to say it's 100. I'm going to say it's double.
It's more.
Just to stoke the fires. But this thing it looks like the suit. It looks like the guy put the suit on, filmed his scenes, and then they're like, now it's a toy. So I just think it looks great. I'm very happy. They've also got King Ghidorah up for pre-order from that film, as opposed to the Monsterverse, which looks very good. Obviously, it's a bit more pricey, but now if I'm getting him, I don't know, do I have to get the one he fights from the film?
Yeah.
This is the slippery slope, Jeff. This is how it all goes downhill very quick.
Yeah. They all need a dancing partner, and so you have to decide, what direction.
Oh, there's too much is happening. Another film that we both are big fans of and that we've collected figures are the Spider-Verse films, and sort of it's all died down with like news about Spider-Verse films, figures from the Spider-Verse. Obviously there was Figure Arts have dabbled, Sentinel have dabbled, Mayfex, right? Couple like
and
all the
Marvel Legends,
and I thought I was basically nearly done. Like I had the crew, and then Figure Arts is like, oh, by the way, we're back, and here's Spider-Man India from Across the Spider-Verse, and just looking good.
Yeah, it's looking fantastic.
Another premium Bandai exclusive, gonna go for about $63. Might be a little more if you're gonna buy it from a US site. Might be more around like that 70, 80. But look at the paint, look at the sculpt, look at the details, and a really unique version of this character.
Exactly, and a really great representation too. I mean, everything's just working right now. So, that Spider-Verse is big, Frank. So just when we think we're out, they do something like this. So it's very cool. I don't have any from Figure Arts, but as I understand, do you have a couple from Figure Arts, or did you go in the Mafex?
I went in the Mafex.
Yeah.
I think I went all in on the Mafex, and then it was one of those things where I went all in the Mafex when the first film came out, and then it didn't. Mafex sort of slowed down and Figure Arts started speeding up, and I was like, oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, I know. I actually was tempted to get a Miles and Spider-Gwen from Figure Arts when those were still available. So close. But didn't ultimately do it. But
because I think I've got the Mafex from the original film, the Mafex Miles, the Mafex Peter B, and the Mafex Spider-Gwen, and then I had to do the Sentinel Penny Parker, and the Sentinel Spider-Man Noir. Okay. So I have the original team from a few different companies, but I've been a bit surprised that they haven't gone deeper, because the second Spider-Verse film was very well received like the first, and it made a lot of money like the first. So it's actually odd that it's taken this long to get another character from it, because there's so many different characters in there.
And because we didn't even get a newer version of Peter B with like the baby strapped to his chest, did we?
Not that I can remember. But premium Bandai web exclusive when it's out in Japan. Again, like I said, around 60-ish currently. It'll be more when it comes over to when you're able to pre-order in the States or whatnot, but comes with the interchangeable head, so you get the unmasked version, you've got the yo-yo, web effect, swap out arm pieces, all the bells and whistles you would want from a Spider-Man figure from Across the Spider-Verse. So hopefully we start speeding things up and getting some more characters, because there was some that really stood out in those films. Looking forward to it. Sticking with Marvel then, Jeff, this just popped up today. Apparently, a leak. We love a good leak here on the show.
A good leak, huh?
We spring a good leak. Been waiting to see or hear about anybody doing figures from Deadpool and Wolverine. And apparently, a leak from Hong Kong, a picture of the Marvel Legends Wolverine from the film has slipped out. And I've got to say, I might be dipping back into the Marvel Legends here in a bit.
Such a slippery slope. I've actually sold off a lot of the MCU. Like actor likeness characters, but this is looking cool.
It's looking good. I mean, like, it's a blurry picture, but like you can see it's there, right? Like, even in its blurry form, the face sculpt for like the Hugh Jackman looks great. Like, you can tell it's got really good like face printing. The costume, from everything we've seen in the trailers, looks pretty spot on. Even the box, like, I love how the detail in the background of the box is like one of Deadpool's like drawings with like the crayons and everything.
I really love that they've gone back to window packaging and moving back towards that. It's really working.
I am hoping, like, I mean, if this is leaking now, are we too far away from a Hasbro live stream, or are they just gonna hold out until SDCC and hit us with it?
Who the hell knows? Because this whole past month has just been crazy with these announces. So it's like maybe they spring it in the final hour before SDCC, or just give the buffet during the event. But they would have to announce. You know what? I mean, the movie comes out during SDCC, I would say, right? Like the 26th.
I think it comes out the day that SDCC starts.
So starts.
Because it's next Thursday.
So that could be interesting. Do they do it in the final hour right before to drum up some more excitement, or do it as the movie's happening? You know, I guess.
I know. I'm just going to come out of the film and be like,
they definitely have to do it.
Yeah. It looks
or
great.
Or they just go, reference the leaked picture. You'll get all you need.
I feel like they're going to hit us with like a whole wave, hopefully, you know.
Yeah. Because
I saw they had the re-releases of the old Deadpool and the old Logan figures recently, and I was a bit tempted, but, you know, it was a bit silly to think that, you know, we knew that something like this would come along at some point.
Right.
And I'm just happy to see that apparently that wait has been worth it. So, sort of depending potentially what some other companies may do, it might be, I might go this route for at least a Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hey, yeah, and it's perfect for that with these Marvel Legends. And, you know, to be honest, they're making some good strides this year with their sculpts and new tooling and paint. And, you know, it seems like they're stepping it up a bit, maybe turning a corner. And, yeah, these are perfect for that. For me, they scratch the itch. I don't need to buy the eventual, you know, $100 Mafex or, you know, whatever else may come in this scale. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see how that kind of plays out.
Well, one last bit of news here is we've got Comic-Con building up, a few days away, as we've said, but there's also another con, which is Walmart Collector Con, everybody's favorite, Walmart Collector Con. I don't have a load of it. I have experience hearing about it and seeing pictures and stuff, but I don't have an experience dealing with it because normally, you know, you've got exclusives. Some of them are maybe a bit harder to find. Some of them become less exclusive as time goes on. Anyway, CollectorCon, for all the good and bad that it is back. And there are some preview listings. Again, Preternia doing the Lord's work here. Getting all the pics, all the info as we need it, but a couple of the preview listings. The man needs to get
mama bird.
Yeah, like what
would
all
we
the
little
do?
Birds in the toys, and here it comes. Right down your throat. Here you go.
So here we go. Some of the preview listings, and there's some very exciting things here. Jeff, you've got the first wave of Street Sharks, and we're starting to see wave 2. It might only be a 2-wave thing, you know, it might only be the 6, which I think is what they sort of teased at the start, but I don't know about you. Now, again, I don't have the first wave in my hand. Hopefully, I will have them when I come back to the States.
Yeah.
Or find them anyway. But for me, Streaks was always the main character. I know that he wasn't. But for me, he was the first one that I bought as a kid, and he was the cool one. And in my mind, he was the leader. He was the leader. It wasn't Ripster or whatever.
No, I got you. Yeah. So he's the one that comes to mind when you're thinking Street Sharks. He
is, to me, when I didn't see him in the first wave, it made me a little bit sad. And now seeing him here, I'm so excited. Like, it's got the extra hands because one of his action features was like the extending claws. He's got the rollerblades. Just the purple like tiger stripes on him as well. It's all there and it looks great. And it makes me more excited to get that first wave.
Yeah, and that first wave was spot on as you've seen, and I'm sure you've watched reviews of it and, you know, taking closer looks. And so you know, Frank, I wouldn't mind if it ends at like 2 waves and it'd be like in and out, done, here's 6. But I do think it has legs. It could definitely go a lot farther. They could even go into a universe of their own new creations on this stuff, which, you know, I know we've seen like exclusives. What was that, a couple of years ago when they released like 3 Street Sharks? But this main line is very cool, and I'm glad this exists for you, Frank. You get to relive the poster child and finally acquire him, and I don't have experience with CollectorCon, but it seems like in general, the Street Sharks transition from that anyways and are showing up in stores. So
because apparently that first wave was a CollectorCon thing as well.
Yeah, and it didn't go well. I don't know, but they're in the stores now. So
yeah, they're out there. They're available.
I find these guys in the stores as well.
And I don't know if these shipping dates are the hard and fast things, but he's got a ship date of November 1st, which probably seems about right. There's a couple of some more, obviously. So we've got the Big Slamoo from Street Sharks, another one that it's funny because the first wave figures were randomly the ones that I remembered less than these ones. When I think of like the first figures that I had, it was Streets, Big Slamoo, and the Dr. Paranoid, and those are the three that are in the second wave. So I really can't wait for those. Obviously, we're seeing other things here. There's some DC Multiverse, there's some Transformers, some more Motu, Turtles of Grayskull, Motu Origins, a couple WWE figures. Anything else besides the Street Sharks jumping out here is exciting? I mean, that Razor's looking pretty good as well. The old Monday Night War.
Yeah, I'm always here for a Razor. I'm always gonna stop and look. But really, this is about the Street Sharks for me as well. The second wave, I'm kind of all in on these at this point. Anything else is like a bonus if it's cool and attainable. Then I'll go after it. But really just excited about the Street Shark stuff.
I do hope. I hope it's one of those ones that they could stop it at those characters, so like the 4 sharks and the 2 villains, and it would be fine. Like that's probably, I think, the only figures I had from the original growing up anyway. Like I didn't really have any of the variants, or there's a couple of other villains who I don't remember.
It was a short-lived show, from what I understand.
I don't even remember the show, if I'm honest. Like I only remember the toys. Like I don't think I couldn't tell you I watched an episode of the show. I can remember the day that I got like the first toy. Like it's such like a vivid memory, whereas like I couldn't. I'm sure I've seen an episode or two of the show, but I couldn't tell you a thing about it. But that's the thing. They were so cool. They were so, the rubbery skin, the packaging, the action features. It was such a cool mix of concepts that was new to us back then. Yeah,
they were in that sweet spot of the 90s with like them, and then you had like Battle Trolls were out. It was just a cool time. People were just mashing different things together. The 80s hangover was actually still pretty cool too.
Yeah. So apparently, Collectors Con, you can try your hand on Walmart's website to try to pre-order some of these. I'm sure some of them are sold out or unavailable, but they should all at some point be available later down the road. At least that's what the current wave of Street Sharks has sort of shown us. So don't be too worried. But that's all the news. I say all the news. We've been going for about 50 minutes, so it piled up. There was a bit of a backlog here.
And you'll have that.
I feel like up till yesterday that there was maybe like 3 news stories to talk about, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, here's the rest, because SDCC didn't slow things down, and we're gonna talk a little San Diego Comic-Con right now because it is coming up. I mean, when this episode drops, it will be 5 days away, depending on when you're watching it. Maybe it was in the past. Who knows? It'd be weird if you watched this too long after it dropped. But we wanted to talk a bit of Comic-Con because we've sort of teased or mentioned it in the past, but the best thing about Comic-Con, I think, is always the anticipation, the lead up to it, and talking about what we might see. So me and Jeff were thinking we would go over some of the things. So sort of 3 categories. Things we think are certain that we'll see, things that are sort of a coin flip, a 50-50 chance, and then the pipe dreams, the things that probably no chance, but we would like to see. So it's not like a very organized segment. I think we're just going to go off the cuff a bit here, but I mean, Jeff, let's start with the things that we're pretty much certain, at least in our minds. We'll go back and forth. We'll alternate a bit.
All right.
So start us off. Hit us up.
Oh, you want me to start? Oh boy, am I prepared? You know, I think things that we're certain that we're going to see, obviously, are you know, as we talked about here, obviously, some Hasbro Marvel Legends stuff. We're definitely going to see more of that Deadpool and Wolverine line kind of unfold. I think that obviously classified, I don't know what exactly, but I definitely think we're going to see a lot more in that line. That kind of blurs into some of the things I'd like to see, which we can get into. But, you know, we've seen bits and pieces of that Rattler come up, and it says like available. I'm going to say available like July 25th. Like that's going to kick off. But that's one of the things. Why don't you take it away while I recover my brain here?
Well, so yeah, off of that Deadpool Wolverine thing, I think we'll see that from the Hasbro team, but I'm also thinking we will see like sort of a figure arts like the import versions revealed.
Yeah.
And like as much as I gushed about the blurry leaked Marvel Legends pick, I would still be interested to see what figure arts could do, because again, I don't think it's it's not like an Avengers Endgame situation where it's like I need to get 100 characters. If it's literally just MCU Wolverine in the yellow and blue and a nice Deadpool in a figure arts version, multiple heads, all the accessories, I might be tempted. So I think there's a very good chance we see those reveals at SDCC.
Yeah, and I do think like it would be a Deadpool in one of those lines that would get me to go in and get them both. I could see that happening.
I've come close because they've done Deadpool from from both films. I think they've done a Deadpool from the first one, and I think they did a few versions from Deadpool 2. So I've come close to wanting to pull the trigger, but we'll see. I think there's a strong chance that film is going to be the talk of the town. It comes out the day Comic-Con starts. It seems like almost silly if every company wasn't putting out something from it. Besides that, I sort of think it's been teased before, or like renders have been shown off, or concept art, but I think we'll finally, hopefully, see McFarlane Batman Returns sculpts. So, you know, we've got Batman and Robin, we've got Batman Forever, so hopefully now we will see a fully realized wave of Batman Returns. What makes up that wave, I don't know. You know, obviously you'd think Batman, Catwoman, Penguin, Build-A-Max Shrek, you know.
Yeah, right. Build the big duck.
One of the crazy clown guys, you know, the fat one, the monkey grinder, who knows?
Yeah, and
I think we see that.
Yeah, and staying in vein with him, I do think that we're going to see more of the 66 style and that multiverse style. Maybe a Burt Ward. I do think that's gonna happen. I also think that being was it Turtles' 40-year anniversary, thinking that we'll see a wave 2 of the TMNT remastered. I really do. I think that they may show off a Bebop and Rocksteady in there. In that vein,
I had that in my list. I thought it because it's the 40th, because it's Turtles. It's like they at least have to do like finish off the first sort of wave, right?
Splinter, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And it always seems to be where they take their lines and then it's
cut the cord. You're off. You're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And I've also put this in my high chance thing. Maybe the more I think about it, the more it's probably more of like a maybe and less of like a certainty. But
yeah,
I'm thinking we'll see Super 7 Tiger Sharks.
Interesting. Okay.
and again, and not something I'm familiar with at all, but I know it follows that trend of Thundercats, Silverhawks, and then there's Tiger Sharks, which is like the redheaded stepchild of the bunch, but it is something that fans of those shows, it's part of the same universe, and there's been talk about Tiger Sharks before, so I think there are enough waves into the other two now to be like, oh, here is Wave 1 Ultimates Tiger Sharks. It's on that in the cusp for me for being like, we'll definitely see it, or it's like a coin flip.
Yeah. But it seems right up their alley to go in that direction because they've been kind of tracking that way. So yeah, it's a good call. My last thing on here is staying in vein with the Turtles. Ghostbusters is also 40 years, so I'm really hoping that something in either the Plasma series line is going to continue. I know we got a glimpse at some newer stuff on the horizon, but would love to see them go deeper into that retro line, the Kenner line. So thinking maybe we'll get a few more scragglers in there. I just, maybe it's more of just wanting to believe that line is not completely dead, but it is the 40-year anniversary. So I do think that they've got to have one more round in them at least for the fans. And we've got the Fright Features Ghostbusters that came out. It's been such a slow burn for those lines, but would love them to at least finish it off with, finish strong with maybe the Granny and the Mummy and the Wolf.
do the ghosts.
Some of those things, if nothing else. So. And
I guess we should be seeing the Mondo real Ghostbusters as well. They've basically said that. So.
I was gonna put that on my list, but I was like, that's probably a given now because we're aware of it. It's already kind of been out there. It's just a matter of when we'll see it. So.
Hopefully we just get like the fine detail. Like I just want to know
exactly
price and date. That's it.
Exactly.
Like, and I don't care what either of them is because I'm gonna have to order them. That's the sickness. All right, so those are the certainties. You can write it in stone, carve it into granite. It's all happening. But now we're going to the coin flips, the 50-50s of the bunch. So I guess you start the last one. I'll start this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we finally, after it seems like the promises have been made continuously over the past sort of few years, I think we finally see some new Super 7 Ultimates Toxic Crusaders.
Okay.
Because we got that first actual wave of cartoon-based figures, and they've talked about wanting to do more, and it seems like every time they reveal a new Super 7 Toxic Crusader, it's a repaint of Toxie. I think we finally hopefully see like a wave 2, which can be like Dr. Killamoff or whatever, the skeleton, Bonehead, what was his name? I can never remember their names, but him, another 3 characters. Whether there's another Toxie repaint, fine, but I at least want some of those other... No Zone, like, give us some of those characters. I think there's a good chance. I'm hoping there's a good chance. Like, they keep selling Toxie. They keep remaking it, so obviously people are buying it. And I think the hunger's out there for more.
Exactly. No, that's good. And I still need a Super 7 Toxie here. I still gotta just pull that, trigger and do it. I think this is gonna be the year for Tim Burton and NECA. We kind of talked about it. I do think we are gonna see an Ultimates Beetlejuice, but I also, Frank, and I'm hoping it's true. I don't know. Something just tells me that an Ultimates Pee Wee Herman is going to be coming down the line. I really do. They've done them in the Toonie line, and I think that this year it's good timing. Tim Burton's getting that surge again. He's going to be having a movie coming out, so I could see that happening in the NECA line, and I would be
that's a good shout.
Very excited to see that and the accessories that come with old Pee Wee, and I think that doing it together, would make sense. So is it going to happen? I don't know. Is it more of the pipe dream? But I don't know. Something just tells me that because I don't know. I've been thinking that they would have to do a PV for a while. And just haven't.
I always forget to look towards those other lines with NECA because it's like, oh, they've done, because normally there is quite a right. If they've done it in Toonie, they tend to do it in Ultimates, or if they've done the cloth version, they might do it in Ultimates later. Like, they did Elvira, that did both. So Vincent Price in both. So that is a good. Yeah, they've obviously got the Pee-wee license for some stuff, so why not an Ultimates? That would be very good as well, because they've shown they can do a suit body. They just need to thin them out a bit. Exactly. So I've put this next one. I've said Super 7 or Nacelle, but I think somebody will finally, hopefully, Captain Planet. I think Captain Planet. This is the year. It's he's global warming, climate change. We need Captain Planet back, and it's only you only need one figure. I don't need the Planeteers. As cool as it would be, I don't need them. I just want.
Think about this, and it speaks to that original line, because it's like let's just get really crazy here, and it's Super 7. One. There's so many different variants that they could do just on Captain Planet alone. You had the regular kind of seafoam green variant, or blue, whatever. The silver variant, you could do a glow in the dark. But imagine this, Frank. You do him and the Planeteers, and then there's like a pack-in ring, And
that was the best part of the original toy line.
Yeah, right? I could definitely see that's really good. Yeah. And there were some villains in there that you could do. There's like the big fat guy and
the big pig man, the big radioactive guy was always quite visually cool. And one of the figures that I never had as a kid, but sort of had always looked for as an adult, but it was too pricey, is the Captain Pollution. Like,
yes, I forgot about that.
They
just unlock something in my brain.
Yeah, the yin and yang of like, you always need the dark version of your hero, and I just remember that when all the villains had their pollution rings, and it was like, oh my god, this is like, as a kid, that was Avengers like Endgame, when everybody's coming out with the portals, like what? So. Yeah, and that would be an easy enough sort of repaint. You'd have to do a little bit of sculpting to whatever Captain Planet mold you had, but it's pretty similar.
Yeah, exactly.
So
definitely be.
I'm hoping,
Yeah. I got one more here, and it's this really is a toss-up, because it's another one from NECA, but I feel like the big one's coming, Frank. I feel like. We're at a point now, we've reached a point with the Ninja Turtles line, we've reached a point with the diorama pieces, and this is what makes me hesitant, because we saw the sewer layer come out to kind of mixed reactions. But maybe, just maybe, there's a Technodrome coming this year from NECA in a big cartoon style. They've done a lot of the set pieces, and it would make sense. Given the times we're in, given how their sewer layer kind of went over, I have some hesitation, so that's why it's kind of in the maybe category, but I think something big is coming from them, and I just feel like they'll be the first ones to kind of lead that way with the Technodrome. If things keep tracking, I think they did the Turtle Van first, so it just seems like someone's got to do it. I know, we're getting the Playmates one, but it just seems like a high-end one would have to be coming.
Well, I was thinking about this when I came to thinking about a list. I was like, well, NECA has to do something with the Turtles. And then I was like, how much more can they do with the cartoon? And I've thought that for the last few years, and they still keep mining the well for like these really obscure characters. But at this point, honestly, apart from going back and like redoing a lot of the originals, like they have to basically be nearly at empty.
Yeah, and it would just be a perfect way to kind of maybe even finish up that line. They
Mm-hmm.
just the perfect send off. And I know they would kill it. They would just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
They really would. So, I don't know. Or it'll be Shredder's layer from the first movie. They'll go a completely different direction. Skateboard ramps and gambling.
Yeah. They'll definitely, I think we know, like, NECA will definitely come out swinging with turtle stuff. But yeah, I do wonder what the cartoon stuff has in the future. A couple, like, I had two more for my sort of 50-50s, and one was that somebody was gonna finally do some, like, high-end, super articulated Killer Clowns figures, because it's been teased. I know the Trick or Treat Studios had theirs recently-ish come out, but, you know, they're sort of, like, 3 points of articulation, or whatever it is. So I've held a couple of them in hand, in package, and I've come close to buying them, but I'm just like, no, I know at some point, whether it's NECA, whether it's Syndicate Collectibles, like, someone is going to do it. And again, they don't need to be super articulated. I'm not going to, like, have them doing cartwheels or whatever, but the Trick or Treat ones left a little bit to be desired, like, too glossy, a bit soft.
Or they could,
NECA or, again, Syndicate, based off of their Pumpkinhead, like, I think those two companies could kill it. So I'm thinking maybe there, and I also think maybe we see Jada Toys Mortal Kombat.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that would be cool.
They've mentioned that that's something they would be interested in, and I know Storm Collectibles doesn't do Mortal Kombat anymore, and it seems too perfect to me.
It's just there on the table, right? Yeah. That would be awesome to see. Again, another just lot of potential there, a lot of legs on that line. Too. Yeah.
So then we get to the long shots, and it's almost like the sad part, because it's like, now we're just going to mention things that we want to see, but there's no chance in hell, right? So I've got 3 listed. How about you?
Really one. It comes down to one that I've been trying to will into existence. I know it is, but,
well, all right. I'll rattle through mine then. I'm gonna save up to yours, because you've got the big one.
It's not a big payoff.
I was thinking, and this was going off of last week, but not necessarily one I thought of too much until we recorded last week. But I think somebody could hit us up with new Reboot figures.
Yeah.
Not that we need it.
When I was rebuying those, I thought, like, someone's probably going to do this, like, very soon.
But, like, even looking at the pictures, and again, follow us on Instagram, because Jeff posted some pictures of his new gets. But, like, you see the figures, they don't look far off model at all. They look especially for the time, they look nearly like they jumped out of the show, and they're really well articulated. So I don't think you have to do. You don't, like. We probably don't even need them, but it just feels like in the world of mining for nostalgia that something like Reboot is ripe for the picking. And Nacelle, for instance, who set up their whole Nacelleverse with biker mice and cowboys, it seems like it fits in that wheelhouse to be like, oh, and then we'll bring Reboot into it and do stuff with them. So I did
Cowboys
that.
of Moo Mesa is coming out, so it's not unreasonable.
I don't think so. And then, so I've said, and I don't know who, but Nicktoons figures, because we've had so many, like, Nicktoons of everything else. Like, every bit of merchandise you could have for, like, the Nicktoons. Like, little vinyls, like, t-shirts, home accessories. It's all been out there, but we haven't gotten figures of things like Cat Dog, Angry Beavers, Rugrats, Doug, none of that stuff. You know, we've come close to Invader Zim, but Diamond Select, basically ripped my heart out and crushed it.
Yeah.
But just those original Nicktoon figures, It doesn't even need to be like complete from every show, but the whole concept of what they've done with everything is in, right, here's your main character. Like wave 1 of Nicktoons is a Rocco, is an Arnold and a Daggett, and wave 2 is a Norbert and a Cat Dog and a Chucky. I just hope somebody could do that. Nickelodeon's probably hard to work with, but there's enough companies out there now that are well versed in making animated characters into figures that I just think it's an easy win.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. Yeah. Enough of SpongeBob already.
Yeah, no more SpongeBob.
Angry Beavers would be.
So I've saved my last one because I don't know. Maybe our last ones link up. I don't know.
Probably, maybe, but probably not. But I could go. Yeah. Basically, I've been saying it for years because there's little to no merch for it, but I want to see someone do King of the Hill, and I think Super 7's the perfect line to do that. Whether it's in a reaction line because they killed it with their Beavis and Butthead. Or in like a main cool toy line. We've seen, who was the one who did in the little boxes? There was a Bobby and there was a Hank. There was a company. That was the last merch we got. They were small.
Yes. Yeah. The little, and I think there was a Dale, wasn't there?
There was a Dale, but there was always just something lacking in those characters.
Yeah.
Hank almost looked too buff. I want to see some nice representations of these characters. I'd love to see it. With the Hulu cartoon on the horizon, I think it's a good time to revisit that, get some merch out there. I don't know what the whole deal is, why we haven't seen more. Maybe there's just not enough nostalgia there, but I do think that show has grown more in popularity since being in syndication than it ever was when it actually broadcast. But I would love to see me some King of the Hill characters, because right now it's Toy-Com, and you got to have a pretty healthy mint to scoop those up. And those are great figures, but then were they great figures? They're the only ones we've really seen that have kind of taken a crack at it. So would love to see, if nothing else, King of the Hill stuff in the reaction line, and I would be totally here for that all day long.
I
rest my case.
Is a long shot that comes through. It didn't sync up mine, but I would trade mine for that, because that does seem like a bit of a longer shot. Mine is a bit boring, but it is just anybody to finally be like, hey, we're doing TMNT 2012.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
Like,
I honestly think we mention that once every episode.
Yeah. Like, if it doesn't happen this year, it's going to happen next year or the year after. Like, at some point, these companies are going to get to it. And I think, like, this is my conspiracy theory brain here. It's just like the only reason why companies are avoiding doing it is because they can't reuse the same mold for the 4 turtles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Get over that hurdle. Like, it's literally one of the few, like, versions, again, up until very recently, but really all the other versions up until the newest version, the Mutant Mayhem. Oh, no, sorry, the last Nickelodeon cartoon.
Rise, yeah.
Yeah, Rise. Up until then, the turtles have been fairly uniform, even in, like, the 2008 movie. So 2012, it was like, oh god, different shapes and heights and widths, and so, as opposed to being like, here's the same mold and we just have to change the color of the bandana. Now it's 4 different sculpts. And
well, hey, Playmates didn't give a damn, and well, no, they did use different molds, different heights. That's right, they did. You know what? I can't knock them for that.
Good, those Playmates.
Yeah,
love those Playmates. I still have them somewhere.
I would love to see that. I often kick myself for not even buying the bootleg versions of the
Revoltech ones.
Revoltech, yeah. I had so many opportunities, and now even those go for a pretty penny on the aftermarket. So it's time. It is time to revisit that. Yeah.
Someone needs to do it, and it will. Again, if it doesn't happen this year, it will happen eventually, I'm sure. That's just Turtles. It's a money printing machine. But there you go. Take us to our word there. We will revisit this when we do the next episode. I mean, we'll be in the middle of Comic-Con, so maybe some of this will come true and some of it won't, but we'll see what happens. We'll have a little scorecard. Yeah. We'll see if we get a passing grade or not. But that was our SC... No, see, I screwed it up. Couldn't make it through an episode. That was our SDCC predictions. Yeah. But before we wrap up, because it's a fairly long one this week.
Yeah.
But we still have the little matter of the 3 Ps, Jeff, because that's what we do. Purchases, pre-orders, and pickups. Let's talk about them before we wrap up this episode. What has been happening for you this week?
Well, it's kind of the right week to do that. We've run a little bit longer. It's been a lighter week for me. No pre-orders as of the recording of this. Doesn't mean it still won't slip in here under the radar before the week's end. But really only one pickup that I've ordered a while back, and I will show them off here. But this week, the G.I. Joe Classified Retro Card Beachhead came in. So
very nice.
Yeah, I missed out on their first crack at this guy, but once they had the retro card back out, I knew I needed to have him. He's essentially, the same body sculpt as that more tactical assassin style Snake Eyes that I have, but it works. This is what's kind of the beauty of this line. Little paint, little different accessories, and you got a whole new character to play with. But again, just going back to, this was one of the figures I played with as a kid. I think it wasn't my figure, it was my brother's figure, but really like it. He's just decked out in all of his accessories here. In fact, this one came with so much accessories that, there's 2 that won't make the cut, which is... It's very rare for a classified figure where you can't, at least the ones I have, where you can't put everything on them, on their person, if you will. But I really like him, so I've been playing around with him this week.
Every time I see a classified figure, I'm just like, why aren't I all in on this line yet?
They're fun, and that's the thing. Like Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. So that's kind of where it's gotten to. It's definitely gotten out of hand. But that was my toy pickup for this week, and nothing else on the horizon that I can think of that are shipping. Lots of pre-orders, kind of baking in the oven, as the kids say. But nothing ready to serve. But that was my week.
Okay. My week it's been all right. I had a couple of boxes come in and a couple of orders go in because obviously, as we've mentioned, I will be heading back to America soon, going back to the old homestead. We'll be seeing Jeff while I'm there. We'll be doing some stuff. We'll be going on some toy hunts, fig hunts, all that. But because I'm going back, I already had to take advantage and order some packages to be shipped to my mom's house for things that I can't normally get over here, or at least can't get them easy. So I took advantage and finally pulled the trigger on the BBTS exclusive Nightlands version of the Saurozoic Warriors. The Brontosaurus Brachiosaurus character here. At first, I remember thinking I wouldn't care to get it or need it, and then once they, in the second wave, were like, oh, there's another version with the Nightlands, like the cool skeleton pair, I'm like, well, now I want that one as well. And awesome. It was on sale, it's $5 off, not a load off sale, but took advantage, because if I bought this and got it shipped to me, it would be like, $20 shipping, whereas I had it shipped to my home and it was only $5. So looking forward to getting him. And another pre-order that I've had in for a while, which is finally shipped, is this bad boy, the Fang de Jing. I've screwed that up completely. The 1/35th scale RX-78-2 Gundam model kit. So have a couple of I've got a lot of Gundam model kits now. Like, they're all blurry behind me on these shelves. But the thing that set this apart is a bit of a third-party company. It's on Gundam. It was $100. Pretty, it's a expensive model kit. But then you scroll down and you see the size.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is a normal Gundam model kit, and this is him. So he's a big boy.
He's a big boy there, and for $100, oh man,
he's got a lot of like LED lights. He's got like water slide decals.
Nice.
What 100, like if this was an official release, it would be, I would imagine, that is the that's the rocket launcher he comes with, like just for scale. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a good value at the time. I stumbled upon it a few months back. It's been a long time coming.
That's a great value, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, for how big he's gonna be.
Yeah.
I can't wait, and it's been hitting people's hands now, so there are a couple of like video reviews of it up, and like it's got all like ratcheted joints, so it stands really well. Like I said, it's got LEDs, it's got a lot of nice details, so looking forward to that. It's going to be a while before I get a chance to put it together.
Yeah, that'll be a fun process, though.
Yeah, when it finally gets here,
out of that.
And then it's figuring out where I got to put it, which is also
right.
Yeah. So those were sort of pre-orders and things that are shipping, and then I did get a couple of things in the mail, so I will let's see what they are. Just if you follow us on Instagram, the Cardback Cafe, you'll have seen that I did get my hands on one of the PlayStation figures here. I went for the Kratos. They didn't have the Jin Sakai up yet. They had the Kratos. They had the God, I can't remember his kid's name. Atreus. They had Atreus up, and I think they had the Horizon characters, but they didn't have the Jin yet. So got him via the old AliExpress, and it shipped very quickly. I don't know why I haven't opened him yet. I think it's just because I'm in the process of,
Yeah.
I've got enough boxes around. I might as well add to the boxes.
You don't want to cheapen the thrill, Frank. You want it to savor that thrill.
Exactly. And then this one, randomly, so this one came from Japan. I used buy.jp. whatever, which I've talked about on the podcast before, on the video before. It's not a podcast, it's a video cast, a vodcast. And big into Kamen Rider at the moment, and I decided to get this, which it feels quite interesting to have gotten it from Japan and not from America, but the old Fox Kids version, because it's Masked Riders, Saban's Masked Rider.
Yeah.
In the package, which I don't think, if I'm honest, he's gonna survive too long in the package.
Such a cool package.
But I had this growing up as well, which is a big reason why I wanted to get it, and I think I got him for $10.
Yeah, I love this about this scale of figures. I've often looked at the old Power Rangers that were similar, around that same time. But what a cool throwback! Just so much fun.
The same, same build. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could probably take him out and repackage him. It looks like too, if you ever want to. So it's
I think he could just slide right out the top.
Have your cake and eat it too, which is I'm here for that always.
It was so, like, I was searching for other Kamen Rider stuff, and then a seller in Japan had that, and I was like, whoa, that's... And then I didn't even think to, like, look in eBay then. I was just like, no, I'm going to follow through with this one, even though it's from America, like, it's an American thing. I'm buying it from Japan for some stupid reason. So I've got him to sort of replace a little part of me that was missing as a child. So looking forward to... Once I get up to the new toy room at some point, taking him out and putting him amongst all his other Kamen Rider friends. But that is my 3 Ps. That's our 3 Ps for another week.
Yeah.
And we are at nearly 90 minutes, Chef.
Okay.
It's been a big one, but...
We're at the Nightmare Before Christmas runtime at this point. Which is quick for
this
that movie,
episode
but long for us.
Yeah, it's longer than...
You shot a feature here, folks.
I'm also... that brings me back to CCC. They promised more Nightmare Before Christmas.
Did you just say CCC?
This is it. More Nightmare Before Christmas, NECA, because all you've done since you've announced that is that weird cloth version of Jack, and I didn't want to go after that.
Not a fan. Frank is not a fan. I will tell you, the toy store next to me has a bunch of the old throwbacks to the Diamond Select ones, so I know it's not your route, but you never know, Frank. You never know.
There's Diamond Select have done a few characters that NECA didn't get to, and so, if they're in the background, they can fill a slot.
And not terribly priced, like an aftermarket price of like $40, which isn't like insane. You know, it's enough to make you think.
Little look-see when we're back.
Check it out.
And it's gonna happen soon, everybody, because like we said, this episode's coming out, and then we've got Comic-Con this upcoming week. We will do one more of these episodes, hopefully during Comic-Con, maybe talking about some of the things we see there, because I'm sure there's gonna be a lot to talk about. And then after that, there might be a week or two off, but the whole reason we'll have that week or two off is because I'll be heading back to the States, and me and Jeff will get together and hopefully do one of these in the same room. We'll do some toy hunts, we'll do some other things. I know Adam's looking forward to the cooking show that we mentioned last week, so we got to do that now. Got to make some mac and cheese at like 2 a.m.
Again, it's... Adam, don't worry if you're watching. It will happen.
It's gonna happen. So yeah, lots to look forward to in the upcoming weeks. I would say service will probably be spotty from time to time because after I'm back home, I will be working quite a lot, traveling around. But I am gonna bring my computer with me. I'll bring my camera with me. So I'm hoping that even on the road, we'll be able to do these here and there. Again, it might not be every week, but who knows? We said this wouldn't be every week when we started it, and we're, 8 out of 9 weeks so far?
Yeah, exactly. And one of those weeks being a holiday week, so...
Exactly. So, but yeah, that wraps it up for this week. What else is there to say? Follow us on all the social medias. Let's remind everybody. Twitter, follow Kaiju Creative, Kaiju_creative. That's where we sort of live. That's the grand production company. It's not even a company that oversees all this. Kaiju Creative on YouTube, which is where all these videos get posted and where all the new videos will get posted apart from the Fresh Brewed. And over on Instagram, the Cardback Cafe, posting pictures. There are those reboot figures that we talked about. Will we get new ones at SDCC? It's my long shot, so we'll find out. Besides that, Jeff, it's been a great week. A very heavy week. Lots of info, lots of toy stuff, lots of stuff outside of the world of toys that we have gratefully forgotten about for an hour and a half. And I've loved every second of it, and I can't wait to do this in person. Only one more virtual one before we get to do this in person again.
That's right. And totally looking forward to that. And it's just SDCC is the fuel that keeps us going.
We've been building up to it for a long time now. It's finally going to happen, and then it will be a weight lifted off our shoulders for another year. But until then, everybody, have a great week. Enjoy everything that's coming up. We've got Deadpool and Wolverine coming up, SDCC, all that good stuff. Me and Jeff will be back next week. So until then, take care, and see you next time.
So long.
Bye-bye.